Welcome to Traveling Adventures, your quest for love. This show is all about for single people struggling to find the right partner. So be sure to subscribe and share this video with everyone you know, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? All right, the country we are heading virtually to is Mexico. All right, we're going to go over the good and the bad about Mexican women. All right, so no offense to anyone who's Mexican out there. These are just basic generalizations of the good and the bad. Obviously, the good is good. The bad obviously doesn't apply to everyone. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Because it looks like a lot of people out there struggling to find a potential lifelong partner need to travel the world. It's time to pick up that suitcase and head on over to another country. It's maybe not the right place where you live with so much bad luck. All right, let's go ahead and get started. See if a Mexican woman is right for you, single men out there. All right, so number one, Mexican women are deeply committed to the well-being, unity, and happiness of their husbands and children. I think this is very true. I've known Mexican people in my life, and for the most part, this is true. And it's a very beautiful thing when you see it in action. Great Mexican women treat their children with respect. They love to spoil them, mostly responsibly. And they treat their husbands with respect, and they give it their all. So let's see what else they have to say here. Nurturing and caring, has a heart of gold, cares for their children with immense tenderness. That's very true. Attentive and supportive of their husbands, also true. Emotional and physical needs of their husbands, yes, absolutely. Loyal, they are partners who stand by their husbands through challenges, valuing the sanctity of marriage. All right, so sounds pretty good, right? But like anything, when you head on over to Mexico, don't be in a rush. Don't start to just date anybody. Simply just go on a vacation, get to know the people, get to know the women, right? And definitely don't approach anyone who is obviously married with somebody sitting next to them, or it just doesn't hurt. People, you need to go out there and just start talking to people, okay? They're going to tell you what's up, all right? You guys can fill in the blanks. I can help you out with that, but it really isn't that hard. And like I said before, if it's not working where you live, it's time to move on. All right. More good qualities of Mexican women. Strong and resilient, can handle life's difficulties with grace and determination. Warm and affectionate. I mean, aren't these things that you guys want out there, you single guys out there struggling to find the perfect partner? Aren't these qualities that you're looking for? They really should be. Openly warm, affectionate, and expressive with their love. They cook delicious meals as an act of love, focused on creating a welcoming and comforting atmosphere. Absolutely, they love to cook. What can I say? And sometimes they'll cook like they're cooking for an entire army. Nope, it's just for their husband and maybe one kid or two, for the most part, from what I've seen. Absolutely, I'd say everyone that I've met who's Mexican knows how to cook up a storm. All right. So here's the last list of everything good for Mexican women out there. Strong work ethic. Inside the home, in a career, they are praised for their hard work. And that's pretty true about Mexicans all overall. They're very hard workers. And I mean very hard. I don't even have to say it. Most people in this world already know it. So I really don't have to mention that. An ability to manage resources wisely to provide for the family. Yes, the family comes first. It's a very Latin thing to do. It's very Mexican. Vibrant and passionate with love, family. There's family again. Hobbies and celebrations. Absolutely. Everybody knows piñatas, right? Well, this is where it comes from. Brings energy, joy, and a zest for life into the marriage. And there's so much more. I'm just consolidating it into the main points that you need to know about Mexican women, okay? There's way too many details. There's a whole world of details, especially from city to city. And it's just virtually impossible to go. That would be such a long show. It would be ridiculous. All right, so last positive quality: supportive and encouraging. This is a big one for men out there who suffer from toxic relationships or failed relationships because of this. They are their husband's biggest cheerleader, encouraging their ambitions and supporting their goals. This is major important right here for a successful lifelong relationship, while also being a trusted confidant and advisor. Men out there, I mean, why struggle with the toxic relationship? Why? And why hang your hat and give up so soon on finding the right person for you? Why? There are fantastic women from across the world in all different countries, and they're just waiting for you. And maybe they're actually visiting other countries trying to find someone like you. That's the fact. That's the truth. It's not an opinion. And so the sooner you accept that fact, the sooner you can find the perfect partner for you. It's not all about the country where you are right now and your bad luck. That's not the world. You didn't see the entire world. Even if you visited other countries, it's time to visit them with a more serious mindset. With that said, we have to go into reality, because as beautiful as this list is, there's also the flip side of the coin. And everybody knows this. So let's go ahead and go over the bad Mexican women out there. It's not that much different from the toxicity that you've most likely already been exposed to. All right, number 1, gold diggers. Her primary interest is clearly in your financial status. This is very common worldwide in many countries. She may ask about your job, your house, or your car as soon as you even meet her. She expects you to pay for everything, wants expensive things, thinks she has a sense of entitlement to your money. All right, this is pretty common, right? I mean, it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that they represent Mexico. They don't. There's going to be bad women everywhere you go, same as bad men everywhere you go. You know, it's just a fact of life, unfortunately. It's a chaotic world, right? But it doesn't mean that there's not good Mexican women out there. All right, second possibility for a bad Mexican woman: irresponsible mothers. This is important if you plan to have children. She has children, but shows little interest in their well-being, always leaving them with her grandparents so she can live carefree. All right, so irresponsible, right? She's inconsistent, unreliable, prioritizes her social life over her parental responsibilities. All right, once again, this is very common worldwide, right? And I'm not going to say everywhere in the world, but it's very common with the toxic people, right? All right, so these two are not quite surprising. This is very common. Let's see if there's anything unique to Mexico, which I kind of doubt. All right, next couple of bad qualities. Drama queens, chaotic with emotional intensity. Oh my, yes, the bad ones can be very, very fiery, very dangerous. You guys might want to be careful. Everything is a crisis. A lot of exaggerating. Yes, drama queens, yes. She creates scenes in public, is constantly jealous, uses emotional manipulation like yelling, crying, and making you feel guilty to control situations and your behavior. All right, so somewhat of a narcissist and possibly abuser physically and verbally, obviously, right? A total roller coaster ride. Okay, yeah, that's true. And once again, that's pretty much universal any country you go. But you especially want to be careful with a Latina, somebody from Mexico, who gets very dramatic, because it can get very feisty, very crazy, very fast. 0 to 100 in a few seconds. All right, but once again, that's not all Mexican women, okay? Just be aware. Caution. That's definitely a huge red flag, possibly the biggest here. She has trust issues, all right? That goes hand in hand with the jealousy from past relationships. Strong dependency needs or unresolved family trauma. She might be overly clingy, suspicious, or view you as her savior from a difficult life. Okay, so that's understandable. People, I mean, this applies to men and women who go through bad relationships. And then so they have trust issues. These are the after effects, the aftershocks. Totally understandable, but it's not excusable because no matter what the excuse is, oh, well, I had a rough life. Nobody cares when it comes to a new relationship. You need a carte blanche, a clean slate. Okay? A clean slate. It doesn't matter. Your new partner, that's not their responsibility to play therapist. They could, but that's not their ultimate responsibility. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last few bad characteristics of Mexican women who are bad. Toxic ones. The party maniac. Her life revolves around clubs, parties, and a large dramatic social circle. She has little interest in a stable, quiet home life. Sounds like the complete opposite of good Mexican women, right? She's unreliable or unfaithful. Complete opposite, right? But that's also common. They're going to be out there. She has constant emergencies like medical, family, or legal problems that require you to give her money shortly after you first meet her. All right, that goes hand in hand with the gold diggers, obviously, right? Nothing new. She's a green card holder. Okay, this could be unique to Mexico. The first one, probably the only one. She's a green card holder. Her focus quickly goes from dating to marriage, then immediately to immigration paperwork. All right, that should obviously be a huge red flag, but you'd be surprised how many men out there fall for it because they want the relationship to work. Especially if she checks a few blocks, but she's mainly pretending in order to get this done, right? With little time spent on building a genuine connection. Well, that's the key part, right? She really doesn't care about you. It's called using you. And once again, this is universal. So that's pretty much what it's all about, sadly. Nothing quite unique to Mexico other than the green card holding situation. But again, that's somebody toxic or narcissistic or both, because that's pretty much what narcissist is they're toxic, but there is a slight difference there. One is mainly interest driven, and the other one is just overall toxic through the other bad traits that we saw. But my final verdict for Mexico, you have better luck finding the perfect partner in Mexico. You really do. I don't think that you're going to encounter, unless you're lousy at trying to find the right one for you. It depends. If you're going to move there, that's a big decision. So you have to obviously go visit that country first. You have to research the country in this age of information that we live in. It's too easy. Pick a city that fancies you, right? That you fancy, and go ahead and give it a shot. Spend a few nights over there. But you have to get out there, out of your hotel, go talk to people, right? That's the only way. Talk to friendly men who can give you some pointers. Be careful, obviously. That goes without saying. And then talk to the local women there, right? But don't just talk to anybody. Use common sense. But more times than not, you're going to bump into a lot of friendly Mexican people. That's their nature. For the most part. There's always going to be toxic people anywhere you go, basically, in this world. But you have really great possibilities of finding that perfect partner there. And I say perfect because if you take your sweet time, maybe a few visits, you got to save up for it. You got to invest in your future, which is happiness. The only way to achieve happiness is through a lifelong relationship. Well, if it's not working, like I said in the beginning of this show, where you live, then you're going to have to get out of there. Your perfect partner could be in the next village, city, state, province, whatever, wherever you live. Or halfway across the world or all the way across the world. It depends. But if you don't get out, if you don't vacate your home, your domestic life, you'll never find out, will you? So all the men out there who are hanging their hats and saying, you know what, I'm done with love, all the women this and that, you're wrong. There are plenty of fantastic women out there. Yes, that's a fact. And a lot of them are waiting for you. A lot of them are trying to find you. So they're taking initiative, or they're full of hope that maybe someone will find them one day. You either take action or you play the waiting game and see what destiny brings you. But unfortunately, not all the time does the perfect partner come strolling by and says, hey, you know, everything goes perfect from there. Not everybody is that lucky. It does happen. But more times than not, you're going to have to get out of there. You're going to have to go find them. So the only way to do, don't be in a rush. Don't go to this country. Don't go to Mexico and say, I'm going to start dating and, you know, start having intimate relations with and see how the women are. No, you're rushing things. It's just basic communication. So get to enjoy the country, whatever it is that you go sightseeing and enjoying and get to know. But you have to be brave. You have to be courageous and bold and actually start speaking with the locals. All right? That's the only way it's done. Love is a simple equation, but that's why it's so difficult for so many. Because that fear, that anxiety, you know, that starts to really set in. So don't be weak. Be strong. It's time to get on that plane and give Mexico a shot for you single men out there. So, with that said, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And also, be sure to sign up for your free membership on my website. Much love, everybody.